Hi and welcome to our very first podcast. Let us just introduce ourselves a little bit first. My name is Mrs. A.
And I'm Mr. D. The reason why we're doing this podcast is we have heard other podcasts. We think a lot of the podcasts that are out there just now don't tell you both sides of the story. So what we wanted to do was introduce ourselves, tell you a little bit about ourselves, how we started, how long we've been doing it.
Yeah.
Some of our funny stories.
And some really bad stories.
But overall, main thing is, we'll have a laugh, do something different to what everybody else does, and just be us, basically.
So, Mr. D, why don't you tell them how we got started?
So, what we've been doing this for now? Good question.
7 years now.
We've been in the lifestyle for about 7 years. Funny story-ish. It was funny, not at the time.
It was funny.
I brought it up in conversation, which is what most couples, the males, bring it up, don't they really?
Yeah, definitely.
Most males bring it up and the females are a bit kind of, we'll see.
Yeah.
However, I was very apprehensive even though I brought it up, whereas Mrs. A kind of jumped in with both feet.
No, I was looking forward to going and seeing what it was all about, and because when you read anything about it, it's all negative stuff, it's all unrealistic stuff, so I was just looking forward to actually going and seeing what there was to offer.
I was interested, hence the reason why I brought it up. However, very nervous.
Very nervous.
And kind of still am to this day, 7 years later. So anyway, we brought the conversation up. Both agreed that we didn't really know what we were going to do or what was going to happen, but
We'd done a lot of research on it, and that's where we came up with it was just a lot of the things you were reading were just keys in a bowl, it was this, it was that, it made it sound, everything you read made it sound so seedy, so horrible, and it just doesn't portray what it's actually like at all, even in the slightest.
you couldn't really find any kind of real information online. It was all other people's, I suppose, negative interpretation. You didn't really see or read or hear about anything that kind of made you want to go.
Well, we first spoke about it, and then family just kind of took over. So we never really actually went and done anything about it other than speak about it.
For about a year and a half or
So
so.
again, it was just young family at the time. Didn't have much time between working and family life, so it kind of got put in the back burner.
Yeah, we put it in the back burner. Then when life got easier,
Kids got older.
basically, kids got older. We used to do random shit as well, didn't we? We used to go to the airport car park in the middle of the night.
Mhm.
We watch the CCTV watching us having sex in the car.
Yeah.
So we weren't really kind of, I suppose, normal. I don't like the word vanilla, but we weren't really vanilla in our sex life. We always wanted to push. So this was the kind of the next step. There was no expectations. There was no any kind of what we're going to do, what we're not going to do. We just didn't have a clue.
No.
Just didn't have a clue. So we went with a very open mind.
Well, tried to go.
Yeah, well. So anyway, we'll fast forward to tonight. So it was a Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, and I said, "Come on." We spoke about it. Our lives were very different, not as busy as it was. So we ordered a taxi. We looked online.
We're in Blackpool.
Yeah, we're in Blackpool. What we did was before we kind of started in this kind of life, we bought a caravan to get away from the city for the weekend. Kids were growing up. It was just
They
us.
didn't want to come with us anymore.
Yeah, so it was just us two. So yeah, we kind of looked up. We found a local club to Blackpool. Phoned a taxi. One of my major recollections was when the taxi turned up. Where do you want to go to?
And you told them nowhere near it. because you didn't want to say where you were going.
Yeah. So I just remember that Yates's wine lodge wasn't too far away. So taxi driver away going, and I kind of like stuttered. Yeah, Yates's wine lodge, quickly. Couldn't get my words out. I probably, looking back at him now, he clearly knew, because we had a bag that we called the swinging bag at the time. It was an old holiday bag. So anyway, we turned up, got the taxi. As you do, you get Google Maps up, had a look where it was, started to follow. And I'll let you tell the rest of this story, because this is
Well,
your
as I
bit.
can say is, when we turned the corner to where this club was supposed to be, it looked like an old derelict building from the outside.
The outside it looked bad.
It looked bad. The windows looked like they were boarded up. They were all graffitied. It just did not look nice at all. And I just remember saying to Dougie, "What the heck are we getting into here? Where are you taking me to?" I know we says we'd try a club, but I didn't say we'd try an old down and out building.
So yeah, so we both looked at the building and thought, oh, the pictures look nice for what we could see inside, but when you have your first visit, kind of first look at a club and you don't see the inside, you see the outside, and now we understand why it's boarded up.
Yeah,
we get all that
we
now.
get all that, aye. Because
But-
obviously it's so people don't look in and can't see what's happening. But at the time, you really don't see that. You're like, oh my God, what have you taken me to? Where am I going? What's going to happen in here?
So we made the decision that no, we're not going to do this.
We're
here.
not going to try this club. We'll try a different one.
So I phoned up another club just outside Birmingham, and I said to them, "What time you open till?" The reply was 4 a.m. So I was like, "Okay then." So what's
No, what's the latest you can allow people in?
Yeah, allow people in, and they just said they were open till 4 a.m. They don't really have a curfew of letting people in. So I was like, right, okay. Put the phone down. I was like, come on.
Taxi back to the caravan, picked the car up, and drove all the way from Blackpool to Darlaston.
So you can imagine, you know what club it was. So anyway, for the people that have been there, they've got their own private car parking that we know now.
At the time we didn't.
Yeah, at the time we didn't have a clue, so we turned into the car park before, which
It was
is
a council car park,
council car park, pay and display. So
which we pulled into to park in.
because obviously that's where the sat nav took us to. So we went in there and kind of parked up and went, right.
No, and then a car pulled up behind us.
No, we first came in, we went, oh, where are we going? Because there was
Where
nothing.
we were going, and we found a parking space. And as we pulled into that parking space, a car pulled up behind us, and two guys got out and come right up to the window to ask us where we were going. So again, we were like, "Oh my God, what the heck's going on here? Why is there two random guys just pulling up to our car, like blocking us?" It looked like they were blocking us in because they pulled right behind the car. So we're kind of like, "Oh, okay, what is this?"
So the first experience was, it left a lot to be desired, I suppose you could say. It was kind of, we built ourselves up to it, we got right, we're doing it, and then the first club was a bit of a disaster, it looked awful from the outside. The second club, somebody pulled up, where are you looking for, where are you going, what are you looking for? And we were both like, what the
And
fuck?
obviously, it's your first time going to a club. You're not going to really say to a random stranger where you're going.
Exactly, so it was like, oh fuck, right. You know the only way just have a clue what to say, oh we're alright, we're going. So that was the kind of first club experience.
So we never actually went to either club that
Oh.
night.
So went back in the car, well we were already in the car, turned the engine on, went back home. So anyway, following weekend, as we're driving up,
He says we're doing it. We're
But-
just going to do it. Just bite the bullet and we're going. We're just going to go to the one, like we says, we spent every weekend in Blackpool. It was our time away. Our kids were now older, had their own lives. Didn't want to come with mum and dad anymore. So it was like, right, we're just going to drive down, and this time we are going in the club. We're not going to the door. We're not going to look at the outside. We're going to actually go inside it this time. So
kind of. So again, exact same formality, order a taxi, where you going? Gates's, I knew what it was this time.
And all I can say is Mr. D was so nervous. So nervous. And when he gets nervous, he's got this really nervous laugh that he can't do it in a bit. He just laughs. So, again, as soon as he starts laughing and he does this weird smile and laugh, you know that's it. It means he's so nervous and he doesn't know what he's doing. Whereas me, on the other hand, I was the totally opposite. I was so excited this time, like really excited. I thought, right, that's it. Going in, we're going to go and see what this is about, and we're definitely doing it, regardless.
Kind of again. So anyway, got the taxi. We knew we were going this time. We walked there. And I remember the first time a taxi was driving along the road as we were getting close to the entrance. So I was like, fuck this shit, man, keep going. We're going to walk around the block. There's no way.
Oh, and might I just advise you, the block is not a 2 minute walk. It was bloody 15 minutes and in heels.
So, anyway, at this point, we walked around the block and we were back on that road.
And by this point, as we've come to the other side, I says to him, no matter what, no matter who's here, we are getting in this door this time. I am not walking around this block again. I've already done it once and I am not doing it again.
So, kind of true again, but not quite again. So, we're walking on the street. We can see where the club entrance is.
And there was 3 people in
There
front
was
of us.
3 people, 2 women and a guy. So I was like, right, let's slow down because let them walk past and then we can go in.
No, then we can run, you says. Then we can run to the door and get in.
No, running was after. The running part was after. So anyway, there's us 2, 3 people on the road, as we know.
And the 3 people went where?
They went into the club.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, right, okay.
And then what did you say?
No, wait a minute, I know. So I was like, all right, okay, we can go forward. And at that point, I looked behind me, and there was an older couple. Remember?
And what did you say?
Right, let's run
Let's run.
because we'll get in there.
Me in heels, dressed up nice. Let's run.
So we never quite ran, but we did walk quite fast. We got to the door of the club, pressed the buzzer. It felt like an eternity for somebody to let us in. So all this time, the older couple were getting closer and closer, and we are standing at the door. As the buzz used to let you in, who comes in? The 2 older people beside us, behind us.
So everybody on the street was going to the same place.
I just remember thinking, what the fuck kind of place is this? Because the street's dead. There was, 7 people, and all 7 people were going to the same place. So anyway, buzzed us in. We went into the reception. The other couple behind us. And what I always remember was, to this day, all I had in my mind was, are we going to be walking over people that are having sex?
I remember you saying that.
And I was like, that's all I could think of. So when you get into the reception, then there was a curtain that led out into the main area. And I just remember thinking, fucking hell, what if people are having sex and you've kind of got to walk over them or round them?
Step over them.
That's all that's going through my mind. So at this point, I am nervous as fuck because I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. Would you put your eyes? Do you smile? Do you nod? Do you put your eyes to the sky, pretend you didn't see them while you're stepping over them? All these thoughts are going through my mind, going, fucking hell, this is awful. So anyway.
Whereas I was dead excited. By this point, we're standing in reception. I'm like, oh my God, can't wait to get in. Can't wait to see what it's like. The pictures make it look amazing. So
we got in.
Got a membership.
We got a membership, paid for a night. Went through the curtain, and I don't know, the easiest way to describe it, it was a social club.
It was really nice inside.
Yeah, a big swimming pool.
Big swimming pool. They had a hot tub, seating area. In the back, they had a nice big seating area with loads of sofas.
Pool table.
Yeah. Also a pool, so it had a bit of everything. They had a dark room down like over the other side of the pool.
But as you walk in, it just, you don't see anything. Nothing's going on. There's people hanging about in lingerie. Underwear, just talking casually. It's not what you think. It's like the total opposite. It goes, well, what was going through my mind was the total opposite. It was just a social club where people were chatting and talking. Everybody seemed to know each other.
Yep.
Everybody seemed to kind of be engaged in small groups at a time. Still nervous as fuck. Still kind of thinking, what can happen, what's going to go on, what happens if somebody says, tries to kind of talk to you, all these things are going through.
Yeah.
So I remember we got a drink, we sat at,
Went for a fag.
yeah, sat at the poolside. We just kind of, I suppose we kind of really stayed our own. Didn't we really, we kind of really didn't know how to engage with other people. Again, it's your first time, you're not really,
I think we were just taking it all in, if you like. It was our
Yeah.
first time there. It wasn't what you thought it was. It was literally, well, for Dougie it wasn't what he thought it was. For me, it was just,
I didn't really know what I was thinking. I just,
yeah, right.
the worst part,
Walking over people, stepping over people.
it was just like the worst possible, what you could go through your mind. And obviously, whenever you do something new that's well out your comfort zone, that's, you always go through what you think the worst can be.
Yeah.
So we were kind of had a couple of drinks, chilled out a wee bit, relaxed. We got talking to a nice couple who were
We
friends.
actually spoke to the ones that walked in front of us as well, didn't we? That night they were in it playing pool, and we spoke to them for a little bit, and then we got speaking to another couple.
Yeah, who we spoke to with for years and years after.
Yeah.
I mean, never forget the first couple we spoke to.
No,
You
we spoke to them actually in the hot tub.
yeah, and
And it's funny because when we first went and we first got in the hot tub, me obviously not knowing what it was like, what the rules were or whatever, I come down in a bikini.
I came down in a pair of swimming shorts.
So
That's
for us, we get in the hot tub in a bikini and swimming shorts, not knowing that actually you can get in with whatever you want or however little you want. Obviously, not now, we don't do that, but back then, it was a bikini.
Yeah, and as I say, mine was a pair of kind of, I'm sure it was the pink
Swimming shorts.
swimming shorts. I used to love them. You just kind of, whatever your ideas are, or whatever you think it goes on your head, it's very, very much the opposite. It's
Yeah.
totally, it's a lot more chilled out. On the whole, most people are quite friendly. You're always going to get the odd one or two who aren't so friendly, but that's just
It's not It's not that they're not friendly. It's just they want to push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I suppose the best way to describe us too, we just go with the flow. We like a drink and a laugh.
We are very much like the social. For us, the social side is a massive, massive part of it for us, and that's why for us, if anybody ever wants to meet or whatever, we always say to them, "Let's meet for a drink first."
Yeah.
That's our big thing, and it's been like that since day one. I mean, the social side of it has always been a massive, massive part of it. So for us to be able to sit there and just chat with people, talk to people while having a drink, feeling comfortable, it felt really, really good, did it not?
Yeah, it did. Kind of.
You were still a bit nervous.
I was shitting myself.
Still dead nervous.
I'm still dead nervous to this day. You know, I'm a bit more. Some people think I'm a bit too kind of relaxed.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't show interest. It's just not showing interest. It's just nerves, and that's the same to this day. I mean, 7 years later, we've met a lot of good people. We've got a lot of good bonds. I would say that.
We've got friends that we met that were really good friends with them, that we met years and years ago when we first started, and I mean, still to this day, we still keep in touch.
Keep in touch
We still-
every day, just about.
We still can go on holidays together and everything else, and it'll never change. You know, it's just nice that you've got a bit. We can do family holidays and stuff with them, but we can also do where it's us going away and going for nights out together at the same, like at another time kind of thing. So we could differentiate the both.
Yeah, and that's kind of probably the biggest thing since we started. We've always done our own thing. We've always enjoyed the social side. We like having a laugh. We like having a drink, a laugh, and getting to know people. Now, some people will listen to this and know exactly who we are.
Yeah.
Some people won't have a clue. So, to give you a kind of where we are now, we now live abroad.
Yep.
We live literally in the swinging capital of Europe, potentially the world. We live in Gran Canaria.
We love it.
we
The
meet,
clubs are right on our doorstep.
yeah,
Can't get any
and we meet
closer.
a lot of people for a drink. One of the reasons why we meet people for a drink is, as I said before, like the social side, like having a laugh and seeing where things go to. But that was our first kind of introduction into swinging. And we left that night, and we were kind of both a bit unsure.
I know I was the opposite. We left that
It was
night
a
and I
surprise.
was so. Well, you remember? I was so excited. I thought it was amazing. It was just. I think it was just watching everybody just not giving a shit, wearing what they wanted to wear, being so relaxed in what they wanted to wear or didn't want to wear, and no really caring. Who, like, there was nobody judging you for what you were wearing or how you looked or whatever. There was nothing like that. It was just, and nobody even judged me for wearing a bikini in the hot tub.
Yeah, yes, the bikini and the swimming shorts. Yeah, nobody kind of judged us. A lot of people said hello. A lot of people were very respectful. Knew it was the first time at a club.
Yeah.
Took time to say hi. Took time to kind of just ask us questions, really.
Even the staff were really nice. That's the one thing we have to say. The staff were really, really good because when we told them it was our first time, they took us around and showed us around the club, which was nice because obviously they showed us everything. And she could see we were it's like you were dead nervous. So she's like, "Let me show you around a little bit. Don't worry about it. It's not what you think." Because you remember she took us up the stairs and all she kept saying was, "At least I'm not stepping over anybody."
Yeah.
And she was like looking at you as if to say, "What are you talking about?"
I mean, that's your first impressions. Your first impressions are always.
That's not your first impressions. That was your interpretation of what
Yeah.
you'd read online.
That's when I say my first impressions.
Sorry about that, guys. We just had to stop recording for a quick second because next door's dogs decided it was time to have a barking session. So we're back again, and yeah, as I say, as we got shown around the club, staff were really good when they showed us around. They showed us all the playrooms upstairs, even the fuck machine that's upstairs. That's what I call it. The biggest.
I'd say that was the only point in the time that you knew it was a normal club when they showed you around.
The upstairs.
Yeah.
Because that's where all the playrooms are. That's where the changing rooms are, like the lockers.
It's where everything went on.
Aye. It's where there wasn't much happening downstairs. More downstairs, around the pool and things like that, it was more like the social side where people met people before they actually ventured upstairs together.
So that was kind of realisation this was a different type of club, basically, where you're shown round and you see. Nowadays it's normal, but back then it was, we've seen playrooms with beds on it, small beds, big beds, rooms that would close, rooms that had viewing galleries, and then the big bed where everybody had an orgy.
Yeah.
But at that point, you're looking around and going, fucking hell, what am I doing? What am I here? Why am I here?
You mean you were?
Yeah, I was. I'm absolutely petrified. Petrified. The one thing I'll say is that when you speak to a lot of couples, we do know a lot of couples now, I think 99% of them, it's the guy that initiates going to a club or seeing what it's like, and then women are kind of very blasé about it.
Some women are not sure, other women jump in with 2 feet
I think
and can't wait.
I think most women kind of secretly dying to jump in with both feet, but they don't want to come across too
eager.
Yeah. Whereas the guy's like, oh, let's try it. And the women's like, so I suppose to take away from that, the people we know and this has happened to, if it's something you are interested in and you're the male, maybe you should approach the female. You might be.
Maybe surprised, very surprised at the response.
Yeah, I would be very surprised. I mean, as I say, we spoke about it a couple of years beforehand.
Yeah.
And we put it on hold, work and kids and busy lives, everything else that's going on. Whereas as soon as we mentioned it the next time, you were like, yeah, okay, we'll try it. And
well, we had more time to ourselves by this point. Both of us were more settled in work, good jobs, weekends off. So we definitely had the time.
yeah, we had the time and kind of the spare time to kind of look at things differently.
And had time for ourselves now.
Yeah.
Now the kids were older. It was like, now we've got time for us. I mean, we had our kids quite young, so by the time they were old enough, it was like, now it's our time. It was our time to actually go and enjoy ourselves. It's our time to actually have a bit of us. And we were in a great place in our relationship. And I mean, it's not something you should ever get into if your relationship is on the rocks or not stable enough. Absolutely not.
Not at
That
all.
would only make it worse. For us, we were in the perfect place. Everything was
Everything was really good for us.
Yeah.
I mean, life in general was brilliant.
sex life was amazing.
Sex life was brilliant. I mean, one of the things you hear about a lot online is people that have a clue, oh, you can't fulfill your wife, and that's why you do it. Nothing could be further from the truth.
No.
It's like the total opposite of not being able to satisfy your wife, or not being able to your wife not be able to satisfy you. To enjoy yourself in this life, you do have to be in a pretty solid relationship that you don't need to worry what other people are thinking or other people are saying. As long as you're happy, it kind of basically fuck everybody else,
Yeah.
you know. So obviously, we beat the first club. We kind of, when we left, I don't really know, we kind of walked back to get a taxi. I think it was the next morning we really kind of spoke.
No, we never. We actually spoke about it that night, if you remember right, because we actually that night we never. Did we date that night? It was the next time, wasn't it? So that night we never really done anything. But when we went home, the sex was amazing.
Oh yeah,
It
sex.
was out of this world. It was like,
Yeah, the one thing definitely, when you go to a club, whether you do something or not, when you go back home, the sex is amazing.
yeah,
For whatever reason, everybody talks about reconnection, sex, etc. Even if you don't play with somebody else, or you don't do anything whatsoever, when you go back home, I can only presume it's when you see other people having sex, you see other people doing stuff.
aye, it gives you that.
Yeah, it kind of does something to you, makes you excited, makes you quite horny, and then you do go back. So yeah, we never done anything the first time. The next day we had a long more chat about it and kind of said, "Oh, what do you think?" You don't know. We're still you're still in that place that you really don't have a clue. We both enjoyed it.
Yep.
Even though we've done nothing, we both kind of had a good chat and went, it was not what I expected. There wasn't the walking over people fucking having sex underneath you. It was very kind of,
Chilled.
yeah, very chilled, well.
Chilled, welcoming, nice.
Yeah. So then I said, well, we've got to go again because
Yeah.
we enjoyed it. Still very curious at this point. Not really sure. At the time, we still didn't really know what we wanted from it or what we were going to do with it.
Yeah.
But all we know is we went there, we enjoyed it, we had a laugh, we spoke to some nice people, kind of relayed some information that it wasn't as bad as what it looked like from the outside and what I thought it was going to be as well from the inside.
Yeah.
And then that was basically the first step for us.
Yeah, it was really good. It was one of the. I mean, it was the first step for us all the years ago, and it's probably one of the best steps we've ever taken.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the one thing it's done to our relationship, it made it more solid, because when you're in a marriage, you can never really say your fantasies and everything else with other people, etc., because you're never sure how the other person's going to react.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really be mega open because you don't really know.
Because you're going to upset the other one along.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So after we'd done that, we opened up quite quickly about
What we wanted from it.
yeah, what we wanted to do with it going forward, where we seen ourselves, the next time. Would we play, would we not? What we would want to do, what would be. I mean, we had a lot of boundaries back then. We had a lot of rules.
Yeah.
We had a lot of rules. We won't do this, we won't do that, we won't do the next thing.
And we've not got fucking one of them, have we?
Just about. Yeah, we
I
had.
don't think we had one of them left after about the first couple of months.
Yeah, we did. We never really spoke about rules as such, but we did say, "Oh, I don't think we would do this." Don't think.
But when we broke the rules, we broke them together. It
Yeah.
wasn't like we broke the rules and it was like, say, me or him. It was when we broke them, we were always together.
Yeah,
When it happened, it was never like, oh, I wasn't there and you'd broke it with somebody else or vice versa. It was always when the rules were broken, it was us and we decided that we wanted to.
pretty much exactly. Right.
It was
Yeah.
the right times, I think it was
I think it was
the
right.
right atmosphere, the
Yeah.
right people.
I think when rules kind of went out the window is because you're in the moment and it was with the right people and you felt more comfortable doing things that you said you wouldn't do. You know, even though we never had a lot of rules, we still had a few that we were kind of, it wasn't so much.
A lot of the rules we set was because obviously when you're speaking to other couples and say you must set rules, so we kind of just thought, oh, everybody
Yeah.
must have hundreds of rules. Like, what do you do? So we were kind of like, right, okay, so let's start setting all these rules.
Yeah, that's, again, we read a lot online and online wasn't anything what it was like.
No,
So
definitely not.
it couldn't be any further from the truth, any further from what you're reading. I mean, you're reading this and reading that, and you're going, oh, so it was definitely the first step was to try a club and see what we thought about ourselves, how it suited us. And
So we have to say our first experience at the club was really good. We enjoyed it.
yeah,
We decided we were going to go back. And then we had a bad experience
that was a few weeks
a
later.
few weeks later. But again, that'll be something which we'll get to on another podcast, and we'll explain why we had a bad experience. We'll explain why it actually nearly stopped us from doing this completely.
Yeah,
Because again, we were new to it. We were only a few weeks into it. And it nearly changed the outcome of us doing this for forever, basically for good.
yeah,
Because it was,
it was our experience.
yeah. But again, that's something we will get to later on.
Well, the one thing we just wanted to do in this first episode was explain.
How it feels to actually turn up to a club the first time.
Yeah.
How you're feeling, what your expectations are to what you actually end up seeing in the end.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all about kind of, they always say about broadening your horizons, and it really was. It was just to see, A, do we think it was something that we would be interested in going forward with? B, does it suit us? And I'd say, first night, we really enjoyed it. The nerves kind of was still there a wee bit. They're still there to this day for me, and to be truthful.
Yeah,
They are.
really are.
They really are. But
Even before he done this podcast, the nerves were there.
yeah,
Even straight away, as soon as we start doing this podcast, he done his nervous laugh. And I was like, you're nervous again? Yes. There we go. So even things like that, nobody can see him. Nobody can physically see him, but he's nervous. So that shows you how nervous he gets.
I'll also tell you, I've been told off 3 times now in the last, what, we've been doing this for 30 minutes, because I'm rubbing the bottom of the stand.
Yeah, because he's rubbing it, and all it's going to do is make noises through the mic. So that's all you're going to hear is him going over it.
I bet you can't hear that. One thing we're going to say at all our podcasts are going to be the exact same. They're unscripted. We just kind of talk about what we've done, how we felt.
Yeah. It'll just be about our experiences. Everything will be about our experiences, but it'll be to show you that, yeah, there is good, a lot of good coming from this. Yeah, you will get the odd bad experience like we've had,
Yeah.
but it's how you deal with it and how you get there after it.
I mean,
And for us, we took a few bad experiences and turned them around the opposite way for us, and we've not looked back since.
yeah. I mean, just a lot of experience when we first started.
Yeah.
And the one thing I'll definitely say, even with all the bad experiences, the good experiences outweigh
Massively.
massive. It's not,
Aye.
they're not even comparable. The one really bad experience, we had a couple of so-so's. The one thing we'll always say is the experience we've had bad, it's kind of, we've learned from it. We know never to kind of fall into that.
Or get into that situation again.
Get into the situation we can sense them nowadays.
Yeah.
That if it's something's just not right. When you're new, you do not have a clue what you're getting yourself into. You didn't have a clue about that.
Or even etiquette and things like that.
Yeah.
Gloves, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that stuff we can talk about in the next one. No, it won't be the next one, it'll be the one after, because that's when we met the women that helped us.
Yeah, and you know what? The women that did help us a lot, single female.
At the time, she was a couple.
Yeah, at the time, it was a part
When
of a
we
couple.
first met her.
And I can only say that she helped us,
Massively.
yeah, massively, to understand the life and understand the etiquette and everything else. And this is really one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast, so that woman that helped us, but it was a couple back then, the ones that helped us, we can try and alleviate some of your fears, because that's what she did. She kind of took us in her wing. Mad as a
She was nuts. I was going to say she was absolutely nuts.
I know that
But you know what is what you needed, because you were so nervous, was somebody that was nuts.
Well-
Somebody that didn't care, didn't take no for an answer. She was just like, you will do.
yeah,
You will.
she was absolutely mad as a box of frogs. Lovely girl. Still friends till this day.
Yeah.
Don't really see her much anymore, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, we're still friends to this day, and sometimes talk on Facebook. Right, so that's the end of the first podcast. One of the things is, if you want to reach out to us, you want to ask us any questions, we're not going to give you advice. What we're going to do is just tell you what we have done, how we have
You
handled it
can never really give anybody advice, because everybody's situation is different.
completely.
Everybody's...
So, yeah, everybody's completely different. We'll only go to say what we did in that situation or what we would do.
Yeah.
We've been in most situations now, both good and bad. However, hopefully you've liked this podcast. You will hear that it's a bit all over the place, because that's just the way we are. That's the way we do things. And
really care.
yeah, chat basically. It's the truth. Right. Well, thanks very much for listening, and hopefully in a week's time we'll do another one, a bit more information about where we've been, how we got there. This was just all about a bit of background about us. All right, guys. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Good night.